Sometimes you just gotta flip it on them, right? Welcome back. This is day 10, episode 10 for VKM. We're gonna have another episode later, so this is like a bonus one because it was a really short clip, right? But it was called the public service announcement from John Cena and for VKM, and it was released on 8/16/2020. So remember what's going on, right? We know what's going on. And the timing of this was very interesting, right? So we're dropping all these 4VKM videos throughout 2020. You have the pandemic going on. You have a lot of people waking up during the pandemic and starting to question reality a little bit. That's probably one of the good things about it, right? And our good friend John Cena, who I love John Cena, right? He goes on the John Oliver show, who's a jackass. But anyway, he's making friends with all these Hollywood people. He's got to play his part. He's got to play his role, and he does this little video for John Oliver to put on his show. Basically, a public service announcement saying, "Hey, careful what you read on the internet. Not everything is true. Make sure you look for official sources. You want to make sure you got to be careful. It's good to have questions, but just careful where you get your information from, right?" So, sometimes you just got to flip it on them, like I said. So I took this video, and basically everything he was saying, I flipped it on him, right? So when he's talking about trusted sources, I'm saying, yeah, go get your trusted sources from qalerts.app and from our friends at George, the original George, well, the second George, I guess you'd say. Remember, they had their hcq.news website, I think it was called, right? So they were talking about how HCQ works. Hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble for saying this, right? But HCQ, right? So you have, I'm kind of showing the right sources that the mainstream media idiots like John Oliver wouldn't want you to see, right? And then at the same time where he's saying, you got to be careful. You want to make sure you listen to the right people, or not the right people, right? You got to make sure you're listening to, or not listening to the wrong people. I'm showing Bill Nye. I'm showing all these, mainstream scientists right there who are Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates isn't a scientist, but we're taking science advice from Bill Gates, right? The father of the computer virus, we'll call it, right? Now he's going to try to tell us how to take care of actual viruses, right? So we're showing all this stuff in a fun, quick little scene here. But one of the things that I thought was very interesting that John says is he brings up coincidences to a degree, right? And he says, you wouldn't believe that me and John Oliver were actually born on the same day, on the same year, right? But if you look at the two of us, one looks a lot better. The other one looks like they've aged horribly, basically, right? And that's John Oliver. He's not in the best shape. So, that got me thinking. I'm like, wow, that is a coincidence. It's kind of weird, right? It's not unheard of that people are born on the same day. It obviously happens every freaking day. But the fun thing about this is that John Cena had a grandfather, right? Everybody has a grandfather, right? But John Cena's grandfather went by the name of Tony Lupien. And believe it or not, he actually played for the Boston Red Sox. And speaking of being born on the same day, Tony Lupien was born on April 23rd. John Cena was born on April 23rd, 1977. So was John Oliver, April 23rd, 1977. 60 years before that date, Tony Lupien was born. Same day. And Tony Lupien was born on April 23rd, 1917. 1917, just, a couple weeks after that, JFK was born on May 29th, 1917 in Brookline, Massachusetts, right? So the similarities get a little crazier, and you'll see this in a later 4VKM. But you have Tony Lupien went to Harvard. JFK went to Harvard. They're the same age, so they're probably in the same class, right? Or they were both in the Navy during World War II, right? So you have that parallel story between Tony Lupien and JFK at the same time. You have John Cena and John Oliver being born on the same day as well. So it's very interesting, and it's fun to say the least. But John Oliver, I don't know what your problem is. You have some sort of, axe to grind with Vince McMahon and WWE. If you look up John Oliver, WWE, he's got a lot of crap that he's been talking about WWE. So I get it, John. You got to play your part, and you got to, rub shoulders with all these people. Stay in character. I get it. Still love you. But at the end of the day, John Oliver is a scumbag, and I'm just going to say that. I was actually at a WrestleMania one year. I don't remember. I think it was WrestleMania 19. No, sorry. WrestleMania 35. It was in New York. And I saw these John Oliver signs, and they were like anti-WWE signs. It was one of his producers or something like that, but leave the WWE alone, John Oliver, unless you just know, what kind of we figured out, and WWE plays an integral part of kind of exposing scumbags like you. So keep it up, John. Keep it up. But this is a quick episode today. Like I said, bonus episode. We're going to get another one later on today, and we're talking about one of my favorites. I know they're all my favorite, but this is really one of my favorites. The Gridiron Gang. We have 4 Gridiron Gang episodes. This is the first one. Very fun episode. We got Dave Portnoy in it. We've got, The Rock's in it. Tom Brady, the New England Patriots. It's all connected. So stay tuned for that. Day 10, part 2, we'll call it. So, as always, enjoy the show. Check out the public service announcement from John Cena. It's fun, and you know what? If anything, let it be a playbook for other people. Take their words and use it against them. Don't forget, 4VKM podcast starting on 2/21/2024. So make sure you guys subscribe to the new YouTube channel, 4VKM podcast. Check out all the videos on Rumble. We have 4VKM.com. I never talk about that, but all the videos are there in chronological order. So check that out and flip it on these clowns, will ya? And screw you, John. Mind your own business.